Michigan real estate license requirements. Question 1. During a property management meeting in Ann Arbor, an associate broker encounters a rule involving the process used when a salesperson changes employing brokers. Which response follows Michigan law? While the file concerns a condominium unit, a earnest minus money receipt, and a rejected counteroffer? Option A, file a new pre-licensure course application. Option B, transfer the license through the county register of deeds. Option C, submit a me-plus modification request for a license transfer. Option D, keep both employers until renewal. The correct answer is option C. Submit a me-plus modification request for a license transfer. Employment changes are recorded through the state licensing system. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. A deed-recording office has no role in transferring an occupational license. Question 2. A employing broker is preparing for an advertising campaign in Kalamazoo. Which statement correctly addresses the status that may follow removal by an employer before expiration, while the file concerns a retail suite, a license transfer request, and an assumed business name? Option A, no employer status. Option B, automatic broker status. Option C, inactive county registration. Option D, permanent revocation. The correct answer is option A, no employer status. Michigan does not offer a formal license minus escrow classification for salespersons. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. That status does not authorize independent real estate practice. Question 3. Which Michigan requirement should control when a buyer representative deals with the standard salesperson license renewal cycle during a transaction minus file review, while the file concerns a manufactured home site, an inspection addendum, and a security minus deposit question? Option A, 1 year. Option B, 2 years. Option C, 5 years. Option D, 3 years. The correct answer is option D, 3 years. Michigan salesperson credentials operate on a 3-year renewal cycle. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. The cycle length does not eliminate annual subject requirements within continuing education. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. At a closing preparation, the brokerage discusses the total continuing education expected within a full 3-year cycle. Which conclusion is most accurate? While the file concerns a 2-unit rental, a broker supervision log, and a dual-representation concern. Option A, at least 6 clock hours. Option B, at least 40 clock hours. Option C, at least 12 clock hours. Option D, at least 18 clock hours. The correct answer is option D, at least 18 clock hours. A full renewal cycle requires 18 hours of eligible professional education. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. Pre-licensure coursework cannot simply be relabeled as renewal credit. Question 5. A compliance question in Pontiac concerns the annual law minus related continuing education component. Which action or statement is appropriate, while the file concerns a historic residence, a earnest minus money receipt, and a protected minus class inquiry? Option A, 1 hour every 3 years. Option B, no annual subject requirement. Option C, at least 2 hours involving laws, rules, and court cases. Option D, 4 hours of appraisal each year. The correct answer is option C, at least 2 hours involving laws, rules, and court cases. Each year of the license cycle includes a real minus estate law component. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. General elective hours do not replace the designated legal instruction. Question 6. How should a Michigan new applicant handle a situation involving the annual fair minus housing continuing education component, while the file concerns a student rental, a license transfer request, and a disputed repair credit? Option A, 1 hour of tax preparation. Option B, no fair minus housing instruction after licensure. Option C, 3 hours of advertising only. Option D, at least 1 hour involving fair housing compliance. The correct answer is option D, at least 1 hour involving fair housing compliance. Housing minus equality instruction remains an annual part of professional education. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. A general business course does not satisfy this designated subject by itself. Question 7. Which choice best applies the state rule concerning the timing of continuing education in relation to online renewal to a lease negotiation, while the file concerns a vacant commercial parcel, an inspection addendum, and an electronic signature? Option A. Renew first and complete education later. Option B. Substitute a new licensing examination. Option C. Complete education only if audited. Option D. Finish the required education before submitting the renewal. The correct answer is option D. Finish the required education before submitting the renewal. The licensee must be able to truthfully attest to educational compliance during renewal. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. An audit is a verification mechanism rather than the event that creates the obligation. Question 8. A file from Grand Rapids raises an issue about the record minus retention period for proof supporting a continuing education certification. Which answer identifies the governing requirement, while the file concerns an industrial site, a broker supervision log, and a referral arrangement? Option A. At least 4 years after the certification date. Option B. 1 year after the course. Option C. Until the license card arrives. Option D. Permanently with the county clerk. The correct answer is option A. At least 4 years after the certification date. Licensees are responsible for keeping acceptable evidence of completed renewal education. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. Course providers or local offices do not replace the licensee's documentation duty. Are you looking for real estate actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access real estate study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get real estate answer key today. Question 9. Before completing a listing presentation, which rule should the licensee apply to the consequence of a license being revoked before a new application, while the file concerns a new construction home, a earnest minus money receipt, and a team social minus media post? Option A. Wait at least 3 years after service of the final order. Option B. Complete only a transfer request. Option C. Wait 30 days. Option D. Reapply immediately after paying a fee. The correct answer is option A. Wait at least 3 years after service of the final order. Revocation creates a statutory waiting period before a new license application. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. A routine transfer or fee payment cannot bypass the sanction. Question 10. A Michigan exam candidate reviews a scenario involving the education calculation for relicensure when expiration was less than 3 years ago. Which option reflects the current licensing framework, while the file concerns a mixed minus use building, a license transfer request, and a record inspection request? Option A. No education is required. Option B. Complete 6 hours for each elapsed year or partial year. Option C. Repeat only the original exam. Option D. Complete 40 hours for every missed month. The correct answer is option B. Complete 6 hours for each elapsed year or partial year. Recent relicensure uses a year minus by minus year continuing education calculation. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. The original salesperson course is not automatically the only route in this situation. Question 11. The broker's policy manual addresses the additional choices after a license has lapsed for 3 years or more. Which provision should it contain, while the file concerns a cooperative unit, an inspection addendum, and a branch minus office distance issue? Option A. Reactivate through a local association. Option B. Use an employer transfer without review. Option C. Pay a late fee only. Option D. Meet the stated relicensure education or examination pathway. The correct answer is option D. Meet the stated relicensure education or examination pathway. A long minus expired credential requires more than a routine renewal transaction. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. Local membership does not restore state authority to practice. Question 12. A regulator asks about refusing housing minus related service because of a protected characteristic during a brokerage review. Which response demonstrates compliance, while the file concerns a farm parcel, a broker supervision log, and a financing contingency? Option A. A required agency disclosure. Option B. Unlawful discrimination. Option C. A lawful appraisal adjustment. Option D. Permitted client screening. The correct answer is option B, unlawful discrimination. Housing opportunities must not be restricted on a prohibited discriminatory basis. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. Agency paperwork or valuation methods do not justify unequal treatment. Question 13. Which statement would be safest for a buyer representative to follow when directing buyers toward or away from neighborhoods based on protected characteristics becomes relevant, while the file concerns a lakefront cottage, a earnest minus money receipt, and an unrepresented consumer? Option A, steering and discriminatory practice. Option B, a lawful zoning variance. Option C, a neutral market analysis. Option D, a title search. The correct answer is option A, steering and discriminatory practice. Neighborhood recommendations cannot be based on the protected composition of residents. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. Title and zoning work do not authorize discriminatory channeling. Question 14. A dispute arises during a license application over advertising that indicates a preference or limitation based on a protected status. Which principle resolves the issue, while the file concerns a townhouse, a license transfer request, and a confidential price limit? Option A, a required broker identifier. Option B, a lawful deed restriction. Option C, discriminatory advertising. Option D, permitted puffery. The correct answer is option C, discriminatory advertising. Marketing language may not signal that protected people are unwelcome or preferred. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. Broker identification and ordinary promotional opinion are separate issues. Question 15. In Lansing, a property manager must decide how to proceed with reasonable accommodation for a person with a disability. Which decision is consistent with Michigan requirements, while the file concerns a urban infill property, an inspection addendum, and a change of employing broker? Option A, reject every request automatically. Option B, require the person to waive civil rights. Option C, treat the request as a commission dispute. Option D, consider a necessary change to rules or practices unless an applicable defense exists. The correct answer is option D, consider a necessary change to rules or practices unless an applicable defense exists. Disability protections may require flexibility in policies so a person can use and enjoy housing. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. A brokerage minus fee issue does not resolve an accommodation request. Question 16. Which exam answer accurately classifies the rule involving the additional pre-licensure education associated with an individual broker applicant, while the file concerns a subdivision lot, a broker supervision log, and an owner minus licensee conflict? Option A, 10 hours of advertising only. Option B, 90 hours beyond salesperson education. Option C, 40 hours total including salesperson education. Option D, no additional education. The correct answer is option B, 90 hours beyond salesperson education. Broker minus level preparation requires substantial coursework beyond the salesperson foundation. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. The additional requirement is not satisfied by repeating only the initial salesperson total. Question 17. A new policy is being drafted for a salesperson license application under the statutory employer structure. Which language belongs in the policy, while the file concerns a rural acreage, a earnest minus money receipt, and an expired license issue? Option A, the employing broker signs or approves the affiliation required for issuance. Option B, a home inspector signs as sponsor. Option C, the applicant self-employs immediately. Option D, the county clerk becomes the employer. The correct answer is option A, the employing broker signs or approves the affiliation required for issuance. The salesperson credential is issued within an employing-broker relationship. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. Independent practice is not created merely by passing the examination. Question 18. During team training, the supervising broker tests knowledge of a salesperson license as to legal form. Which answer should the team select, while the file concerns a single-family residence, a license transfer request, and a property-management payment? Option A, it is issued to a branch office. Option B, it may be issued to any corporation. Option C, it is issued only to an individual. Option D, it belongs to the property being sold. The correct answer is option C. It is issued only to an individual. Michigan treats the salesperson credential as an individual occupational license. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. A location or parcel cannot hold a salesperson credential. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A consumer asks the brokerage to explain an associate broker's status. Which explanation reflects Michigan law? While the file concerns a small apartment building, an inspection addendum, and a delayed possession term. Option A. A county recording officer. Option B. A broker minus qualified individual working for another real estate broker. Option C. A salesperson with no broker qualifications. Option D. An unlicensed assistant. The correct answer is option B. A broker minus qualified individual working for another real estate broker. An associate broker has met broker licensing standards but practices through an employing broker. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. It is distinct from clerical assistance and ordinary salesperson status. Question 20. Which compliance step is required when the transaction facts involve the minimum age for an initial salesperson applicant, while the file concerns a office condominium, a broker supervision log, and a cooperating brokerage? Option A. At least 19 years old. Option B. At least 21 years old. Option C. At least 18 years old. Option D. At least 16 years old. The correct answer is option C. At least 18 years old. Michigan requires an initial salesperson applicant to have reached legal adulthood. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. Higher age thresholds are not part of the current salesperson checklist. Question 21. A associate broker notices a potential problem involving the approved education needed before examination eligibility. Which response should occur first? While the file concerns a condominium unit, a earnest minus money receipt, and a rejected counteroffer? Option A. A complete 60 hours of continuing education. Option B. A complete 40 hours of approved pre-licensure education. Option C. Complete 24 hours of approved education. Option D. A complete 90 hours of broker education. The correct answer is option B. Complete 40 hours of approved pre-licensure education. The salesperson pathway begins with 40 approved instructional hours. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. Broker coursework and renewal education serve different licensing purposes. Question 22. The state portion of the exam presents facts about the civil minus rights component within salesperson pre-licensure education. Which result is supported? While the file concerns a retail suite, a license transfer request, and an assumed business name. Option A. Conclude at least 4 hours on civil rights law and equal opportunity in housing. Option B. Include 8 hours of appraisal only. Option C. Include 1 optional ethics seminar. Option D. Include a federal tax workshop. The correct answer is option A. Include at least 4 hours on civil rights law and equal opportunity in housing. A defined portion of the qualifying course addresses housing equality and civil minus rights law. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. An unrelated elective does not satisfy this subject minus specific mandate. Question 23. Which brokerage practice properly addresses the examination provider used for the Michigan salesperson test in the Grand Rapids transaction, while the file concerns a manufactured home site, an inspection addendum, and a security minus deposit question? Option A. Pass an examination administered by the employing broker. Option B. Pass the salesperson examination administered by SI. Option C. Pass a county assessor examination. Option D. Pass only a school final examination. The correct answer is option B. Pass the salesperson examination administered by SI. Michigan uses an independent testing vendor for the salesperson licensing examination. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. An employing broker may sponsor the applicant but does not administer the state examination. Question 24. A licensee is comparing 4 procedures related to the step that produces the candidate identification needed to schedule the test. Which procedure is lawful? While the file concerns a 2- unit rental, a broker supervision log, and a dual- representation concern. Option A, schedule with SI before applying. Option B, wait until a license is issued. Option C, submit the online salesperson application and education proof first. Option D, ask a broker to create the candidate number. The correct answer is option C. Submit the online salesperson application and education proof first. Exam eligibility is connected to the online application record and verified course completion. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. The identifier is not created by a school or a prospective employer. Question 25. At the end of a buyer consultation, the parties question the employment relationship required before an active salesperson license is issued. Which statement provides the best guidance? While the file concerns a historic residence, a earnest minus money receipt, and a protected minus class inquiry. Option A, use a title company as the statutory employer. Option B, register with a local board only. Option C, work independently without a broker. Option D, obtain sponsorship from a licensed individual broker or broker company. The correct answer is option D. Obtain sponsorship from a licensed individual broker or broker company. A Michigan salesperson practices through a licensed employing broker. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. Independent brokerage activity requires a different level of licensure.